Greetings, listeners. Today we reflect on the end of yet another chapter, cut short in comics. Some say Dreamwave's greatest achievement wasn't storytelling, but its ability to vanish faster than Starscream's loyalty. Bazinga! Another Starscream dig. I knew we could fit another in these series. Now then, once more, let's tune into yet another continuity review and cancellation together.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today we are currently recapping the events of Dreamwave's Armada / Energon comic. I'm Onyx Prime, and with me, and I don't know what
Me, the
to say.
favorite Kill0-byte. I'm here. Hello.
Kill0-byte, thank you very much.
The actual favorite Clickbait is also here.
Yeah. We're all here.
We're here.
These comics have been something else. Moving on with our
Oh,
comic
yeah.
discussion for today's episode takes us to Dreamwave's Armada and Energon series. And as always, spoiler warning. So if you haven't read these, I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, I don't know if I want to recommend these ones too much. But, read them because then you have the knowledge of them. And then you know they were existing. So, with that, Clickbait, do you mind giving us the facts? And Kill0-byte, can you give us the trivia and summary?
Yeah, dude.
Of
Awesome.
course.
Thank you so much.
Our fast facts for today. Number of comics in this continuity. We had 1 preview and 30 official issues, totaling to 31 comics released. The preview issue, or issue 0, was released April 24th of 2002. And the last issue, issue 30, was released December 8th of 2004. And that's it for my fast facts. That was so short. Oh my
That was
goodness.
so fast.
I know. I said they were fast facts. I meant it.
Now for some trivia. Even though this series was cancelled, cover art for issue 31, 32, and 33 were revealed on Cybertron and several other locations. In a 2023 podcast interview, Furman said the early end of Energon was one of his biggest regrets about Dreamwave. But because everyone was focused on their G1 title, no one was focusing on what they were making for Energon. He and Milne were left alone and were just having a blast, running with everything. This may explain why there were so many plot points introduced.
Just maybe.
And then the final one is Simon Furman has stated that he always planned for 6 more issues to complete the story arc and hoped to get a sequel series called Cybertron to follow the same format as the TV show. That would have been cool because I wanted to see what they would have done with the Planet Keys. That would have been an interesting concept.
Let's find the Cyber Planet Keys.
Our worlds are in danger.
Where have I heard this before?
And now for some summaries. As the fight for the control of the Minicons shifts to a race against the destructions of the world as we know it, the Decepticons, the Autobots, and the Minicons must work together to stop Unicron and his army of clones before it is too late. And as always, this information has been taken from the wiki. And a special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. You're all amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Can't do it without you. Are we ready to dive into our review?
Yes.
We're ready. I brought my floaties.
Oh my gosh. Wrong kind
We're
of
diving,
dive,
right?
Kilo.
Oh,
we
I
are-
understand.
Metaphorically diving,
Whoops,
not
did you-
literally.
Oh, I thought we had a pool day today.
I mean, sure, Kilo, sure. Let's start things off strong. What were your favorite scenes from this series?
Well, I enjoyed the art a lot. I know it's not a specific scene, but there were a lot of scenes where the art really shined and like the details on the characters, they just resembled the toys a lot, and like they were almost like ripped out of the show. So I really like seeing those designs, but also seeing how ruthless this version of Megatron was, and like especially in the beginning scenes with Minicons, and all he wanted was like power. Was an interesting concept to me. I was in shock the first time I saw it, but because it's just not something we get to see for like Megatron wise. So that was those were interesting, and like I wouldn't say Megatron being ruthless is favorite, but it's an interesting concept.
I agree. It very much is.
Clickbait.
Well, thank you. The Megatron and Decepticons in general being super ruthless, in particular, to the Minicons, and then with which Autobot was it that they were harassing that one of them had captured and tortured for like X amount of years? Who was that?
It was
Ironhide.
Ironhide.
It was Ironhide. Yeah, and then the poor guy again in this last issue, they were harassing him again. That was a really interesting concept. I really wish we would have gotten a little bit more background on that, but I like when they're not
more
afraid
show
to
and not tell.
Yeah, more show, not tell. I always enjoy when they're not afraid to let the bad guys be bad guys, because that's the whole point of like a bad guy. They don't always need to be redeemable or this or that. So they really went a little bit overboard with that in this series, which was cool, but also like, oh my gosh. But the stuff on Cybertron was a lot of fun. They had a lot of moving parts in here. The more technical stuff that they explained was fun. There was a lot of technical stuff they didn't explain, but the stuff that they did explain was really fun. And then I thought Emo Galvatron was hysterical, where he's like, pain and suffering, and I'm gonna kill you all, and it was really funny. I thought it was hysterical. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a specific scene exactly, but a lot of the fight scenes were fun, especially when Optimus or Megatron was involved, because they not only brought power to the battlefield, but the Riz and one-liners.
The
It just made
Riz.
it made the scenes. It made them stand out more than the rest. Like
Yes.
when either of them were the focus point of the comic or the scene, that's what made it.
Mhm.
Well, even the insults were pretty funny sometimes.
The insults were
They
hilarious.
were pretty good. Some of the insults were absolutely great. Yeah, I agree.
It's good. We'll have some of these on screen, but it was good. It was good. However, I will lead us into our next segment, the weakest parts of this series. Having story arcs that go nowhere or backstory drops where they tell and don't show events. There were a few scenes where characters would act completely out of character to what was previously set up, or just expecting the audience to remember bot names that we're not familiar with. Like a roll call would maybe help. There was a lot, honestly. Like the quasi anime look of the humans. Not a super fan. But there was some of the writing. Not trying to be positive, but there was a lot.
Yeah,
Clickbait.
I agree. I'm gonna piggyback pretty much entirely off of what Onyx said. There was a lot that this series struggled with. Mostly the plot. They really struggle with the plot. Some of the art styles are not my favorite art styles. A lot of the battle art panels were really noisy, and it was hard to differentiate kind of what was happening. There was a lot of jumping around where they didn't explain where you were, and so it would take me a couple panels to figure out that we were somewhere else, and that was why I was confused. There was a lot of plot points that got introduced and then died out, and they did nothing about them. There was a lot of plot points that they spent a couple issues building up to this big bad or this massive threat that were resolved in less than an issue. It didn't even take an issue, and very few people died, and that was brought back. But that's pretty typical. And then some characters said things that were very out of pocket for the characters. They did have a lot of great one-liners, which was really fun. And then that was cool. But my favorite... I'm sorry. I totally lost my train of thought.
But I agree with what you both have said, because the dialogue sometimes just felt kind of flat and confusing. Because there were sometimes you would read and you're like, did I just read that? And you would have to like reread it, or it was a lot of a wall of text on the page, and then you're like, what is going on here? So that was a little bit hard to do, and also keep track of things. Like Clickbait was saying, like, is this in the past? Is this in the present? Are we on Cybertron? Are we on Earth? So sometimes like things were mixed together. And sometimes the art was a little bit off. I did say I enjoyed the art in a lot of sections, but it also lacked in others where like they had some weird body shapes to them or proportions, or like in the beginning of the series, all the crotch shots that we got from Optimus and Megatron and everybody else.
Oh yeah,
that was an experience.
funny.
So those types of things, and especially knowing the history of how the humans look, it was like, why did you decide to do this? So yeah. With that said, I would like to bring us back to what is our favorite characters from the series. I will start because I have a lot, in the sense that I love all the minicons. Just seeing them brings joy to me. Just seeing them run around and have some roles, and a little bit more important than in the show where it was like collect the ball, and then that's about it. And then I do like a lot of other characters that we get to see, just because I have nostalgia for those designs, and also some of the characters we don't see often, like the Mirage version of Tidal Wave. I think that's a very cool design, and I wish Hasbro had more boats. And so it's good to see like variation is not just like a plane or a car, truck, or a military vehicle. So I was like, give us more boats.
Yeah, it's crazy that these humans live on a planet 70% water and they have not as many boat bots.
Yeah,
I know, it's kind of wild.
we need more boats. More
boats.
boats and trains.
Boats.
Onyx would like to go next.
Sure. With how little we saw from the character, I would say my favorite was Megatron. He was ruthless since his first appearance. Like, he's not your parents' Megatron. He's not like, oh, I'm just evil for evil's sake. No, he's actually brutally evil. Like with the scene where he seemed like he was about to melt the minicons into a shape, and then he's like reformatted them, and he was just full on evil. I mean, there were some of them that were kind of awkward, like the cross shots in the early stages of these comics. But the epic fight scenes between Galvatron and Scorponok and Optimus, like he stole the show or the comics. He's my favorite, I think.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I don't think anyone else would choose him unless they're gonna copy me. Clickbait, you're next.
Listen! That's calling me out, first of all. I did enjoy Megatron, but apparently I'm not allowed to have the same favorite as Onyx.
I was just poking you because, like, as I was reading this, I could see your notes type in Megatron.
Listen, to be fair, I did not retype Megatron. I misread the question, and so I thought it was like a specific favorite scene, and so I had put down the Optimus Megatron Galvatron battle as the specific favorite one.
That was a pretty good
one. And
one.
then as you started talking, I realized it was supposed to be a favorite character, and I was like, oh shoot. And it was Megatron for this series. Yeah. I know, but listen, so then I just deleted that part, but I did enjoy Megatron. I felt like the Optimus in this one was super bland, so that's why I had deleted him from the comment.
He's felt more like a background character most of the time.
He did.
Yeah, because the minicons ruled. I mean,
well, the minicons, like, they became a background character in the
eventually. Yeah. Once we went to Energon, they did. Yeah.
But I thought it was really fun with the Jetfire. I liked Jetfire a lot. I liked what they did with Jetfire a lot. He kind of came into it in the end, and that was really fun watching him kind of do his thing. And even the counselor, the traitor, gave him a compliment, which was nice. And he's one of my favorites in the show that I've watched the little bits of it. And it's funny because he's totally Australian for some reason. But
that's later on, not at the beginning.
I know they get random accents throughout the show, but I like the Australian version because it's funny. Yeah.
So
that's what I have to say about that.
Are we ready for Rod Star rating?
Sure.
Yeah, this time this is a continuity review, and to remind our listeners, continuity reviews we do out of 10 Rod stars. So, with that in mind, I'll come out of the gate and say 4. Not great. I'm sorry. This might be someone's favorite, and I hope it is, but it does not hold up completely to the cartoon. The cartoon has its own faults, but at least it finishes its story arcs before it starts new ones, and it's okay. I don't know if I would read this one again, is what I'm saying, I guess.
That's fair.
I agree. It's also for... It started off good and interesting with the minicon concepts and how ruthless Megatron was, and then it slowly slowed down, and then it just started making less sense, and it just became a little bit jumble of messes because they're like, we'll introduce these characters, and then they'll disappear for the rest of the series. Like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, they all just disappeared after they got beat once. And then the minicons were in the beginning, and I know that's kind of how the shows went, were minicons, and then we just focus on the Energon stuff and the clones. but then they do appear towards the end. They're like, "Oh, Rad and Alexis are here. We gotta defend Earth." And I'm like, "Where were you the last 7 issues we've read? Like, this has been going on for a while." So it's just stuff like that where it's like it wasn't consistent enough, and then the writing was a little bit all over the place. Sometimes where like you got confused of what was actually happening, what was present time, what was like a flashback, or even like where the locations was. So it just didn't hold up together in the long run.
Yeah.
I agree. I also gave it a 4. I'm not copying anybody. Onyx, you're copying me. Anyways, I also gave it a
I
4.
went first. All you guys are copying me.
Oh my gosh. I felt like the series overall, it wasn't horrible. Like, it wasn't awful, but it didn't really do anything. It, like we've said, before, it had redeemable moments, it had great one-liners, it had fun art. It also had some art styles that were interesting, and then it had some plot points, like we said, that petered out or didn't go anywhere or got resolved instantly. But overall, not awful. If you want to read this just for knowing about it, that's fine. It doesn't have a ton of rereadability, in my opinion, but what did we do before? The Transformers Reimagined or whatever, the What If one. That one was this is way better than that. It was all right. It was good. It was all right. But yeah, a solid 4 in my opinion.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. And listeners, what would you give this a Rod Star rating? Let us know how many Rod Stars you would give it by leaving a comment below. With that in mind, before we get into clickbait quick quotes, since we have the information on what could have been on the next 6 issues that Simon Furman would have liked to see, we would have seen Omega Supreme make an appearance and fight the 4 Horsemen. We would have seen Megatron fight Alpha Quintesson. We would have seen Starscream reappearing again, doing some shenanigans. We would have seen the Dinobots being deployed, like the Autobot side of the Dinobots, such as Grimlock and Swoop. We would have also seen, I think maybe I said it, Unicron awakening and going towards Cybertron. We would have seen Wing Saber and Rodimus join up. We would have also seen Avalon, the person who betrayed everyone, detonate and destroy Unicron, which would have imploded into another parallel universe, rocketing the planet of Cybertron and leaving nothing but a black hole behind, pulling Cybertron towards it, such as what happened in the cartoon.
That would have been good.
So Avalon was a double agent?
Apparently so.
Ooh.
Or maybe he
don't
turned the leaf at the end. Who knows?
Know how they would have done that in 6 issues.
There's a lot that could happen. Maybe
Yeah.
you know what they could have done it. They just ignored all the other plot lines.
I know, all right. Well, that's nothing new to this, so.
But with that, Clickbait, can you give us the final quick quotes of this continuity?
Absolutely. It is time for our Clickbait quick quotes, the arguably one of the best parts of the episode. We've got 4 quick
That's
quotes
biased.
coming your
Hearsay.
way today. I said arguably.
Hearsay.
Yeah, I did say that. You did
Objection.
hear me say that. No! Overruled. Guilty! Or innocent. Both, it doesn't matter. You're getting fed to the sharks.
Copper, take me
Anyways.
back, please. Take me
Yeah,
to the
like
jail
that
cell. Get me out of here,
purple
Copper.
We've got 4 quick quotes coming your way today. First one is from issue number 1 of Transformers Armada. They have told me which little robo guy this was, but I have forgotten since then. It's one of the mini-cons. It says, you know our motto here at Cyber City. If we can't transform your frown into a smile, then we just haven't done our job. Which, kind of cringy.
It's
but
like the
you know what?
traffic
It's
intro guy. It's in the first
Yeah,
comic, right?
it's this little robo guy. Yeah. And our second quick quote comes from issue 11 of Transformers Armada, and it comes from Cyclonus to Megatron. I sure hope so. Last time my landing gear took a whooping, and call me old-fashioned, but I prefer to whoop. First time I read that, I laughed so hard. I thought that was great. So it made it into the final quick quotes. Our third quick quote comes from issue number 3 of the More Than Meets the Eye Mini-Con compendium collection. It's from Dead End's bio, and it says, I thought this one was funny because it was a totally different direction than the last ones we've been going. My mind rots in the black house of crooked angles. Sometimes I feel that.
That's still messed up.
So emo.
So
of
dark.
shit
It's
and
so
shit.
emo. Like, I would expect Galvatron to say that with the way they were making him emo. But I thought it was hysterical. And our last one comes from issue number 26 of Transformers Energon. It is said by Megatron. And he says, "Oh, Prime, you always did know how to flatter us pan-universal tyrants." And that was when Megatron was first trying to convince Optimus to get him out of Unicron and to free him. But there you have it, our quick quote for this
Fantastic.
series.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I
Thank you.
live for these.
Listeners, if you would like to get in contact with us, you can send us an email at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. That's SWERVESBAR podcast@gmail.com. All right, any new toys you want to talk
I
about?
do.
I have one.
All right, I go first. I guess no one else is wanting to.
Oh my, Primus, it's again.
So I got Slicer last time. So this time I'll talk about I talked about Sideswipe. So I'll talk about Slicer. So Slicer is the can't talk today. What's going on? It's the shattered glass version of Wheeljack, and he comes with a little parts former red guy who can be his battle armor or minicon or assistant. I don't know.
All the above.
All the above. Choose your own adventure. But I like his gold mask. That's pretty cool. I'm not a super fan of the translucent plastic for the weapons or on his parts former minicon, but the figure itself, I like. I like it. It's pretty well done. It comes with a little rocket launcher. Pretty sick. Yeah. Slowly finishing the Shattered Glass collection I have accumulated. Thank you to those who have helped me.
You're welcome.
I guess I'll go next. To prove that I'm still the favorite, and I will always be the favorite, I got another toy from Onyx. Also, actually, from Baltimore.
Wow.
He got me Sam Make Toys Whirl prototype 3D printed model, which is amazing. I love it. I'm scared of breaking it, but Sam confirmed that it should withstand, a little bit of play with it. So, but I love it, and he's sitting on behind a glass cage, so he doesn't break.
Well done.
Nice.
Well done. I'll have to see pics of that.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I
Anytime.
got my grubby little servos on the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime.
Wow, rub it in, why don't you?
Yeah, you
Oh,
stole
I
it from my
shall.
servos. You pushed me out of the way.
I did not. You're not even in the same district as me. Anyways, so I got it. I found it, and I got it 25% off. What? That was awesome. And he comes with his trailer. He's super cool. He was ever elusive. I found him at that Earth place. Tarjay got him.
Tarjay.
Yeah, he was just sitting on the shelf, just waiting to be grabbed because Kilo is nowhere to be found.
Wow.
Well, he's so
And,
small. I don't know
Yeah, I
if he
can
had a
reach him.
chance.
Not my problem. Anyways, he's super cool. He's super fun. I have really enjoyed the Studio Series line so far. They've all been really nice. And this one is definitely no exception. He's very nice. He's very classy gentleman. He's got his
But
little
question
Energon
for
axe.
you:
Yeah.
Are his heels the correct way, or are these the ones that were put in wrong?
I will have to look because I didn't know that was a thing that was happening.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Dun,
Stay tuned for the mystery.
tuned.
With
Stay
that, are
tuned.
you two ready to dive into Transformers Shattered Glass Part 2? I know, it's been 2 years since we did the first part, but let's finish this series.
Yes, let's do it.
Kill0-byte, do you mind taking us out?
Yes, if you've enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. If you want to help out the show even further, we have started a Patreon. All of the proceeds will go to supporting the show and keeping the lights on. Of course, we have some tiers that offer other forms of gratitude, such as 3D files and entry to our Discord channel. You'll even get early access to our comic review videos a week before they're publicly released, and our D&D videos, and all of our other videos for all of our other channels. We do have a Redbubble, and we have amazing art by Onyx where you can put it on pillows, on shower curtains, on hoodies, on jackets, on bags, and anything
socks.
you want.
Mm-hmm.
So that is always fun. So check it out if you have a chance. And as always, we hope you're all staying safe out there. Thank you so much for listening. Till all are one.
Till all
Yes,
are
we
one?
do. Till all are one.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Swerve Podcast, and even on Tumblr. Yes, with everything going on, Twitter, we figured we should cover our bases. Speaking of which, You can also find us on Twitter at SwerveBar, if that's still a thing. If you're interested in more content, try checking out our spin-off D&D series, Transform and Roll Out. Season 3, titled Eons, is out now. Let's tune in to a preview now.
I can translate if you need.
Oh, no. Hey, back off, man. I'm a scientist. I can speak sign language.
She puts her hands up like, it's fine. Mother, maybe you should come here.
I love nobody's like helping Mantix. They're all just like smolder my child.
You think I could stop Starscream? I'm sorry.
And then they turn green. We'll see in a little bit, Smolder.
Aww.
Wow, you actually eject from the chat?
Mm-hmm.
They have to do it.
Man.
Crit and fell into the space bridge.
They tumbled and went through.
Gracefully tripped and fell through the portal like a ballerina on the ocean.
How strange. I don't understand why anyone would tune in into such make-believe content. Perhaps it's the voice actors that makes special appearances sometimes. Oh well. Tune into their YouTube channel that has bonus content such as video games containing phony comments, convention videos, and trendy shorts. A link will be provided below. And if you're inclined, check out their Redbubble, where you can get pins, t-shirts, and more, or subscribe to their Patreon to access their Discord and listen to content before it's released to the public. More links will be provided below. End transmission.